Multiple streams of revenue. What do you think multiple streams of revenue means? Last week you talked about it a little bit, and this week we're going to delve into it a little further. Stay tuned.
From Philadelphia, the home of the Liberty Bell, Financial Freedom Radio starts now. Here's your host, Raymond Jewell.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to financialfreedomradio.com. I want to thank you all for coming and downloading. We're blessed that you're here and downloading. And please share with your friends. We build our listener base based on referrals, and we just love to have you refer us to your friends and let them listen to us. And if they don't like us, don't listen again, but at least give us 30 or 60 days. I think you'll like it.
If they don't like
And
us, you need new friends.
also, yeah. And let's welcome Steve Bailey, our producer, who is going to be the subject of attack today.
Uh,
So, but
good morning and
let's
what?
let's hang on. I'm still warming up here.
Oh boy.
So, so one of the things that's important, I understand last week that you took people through multiple streams of revenue,
I
and
did.
which is a good thing because in our personal economic coach process, our financial freedom radio process, we talk about multiple streams of revenue and how to make sure that you've got uh, different different streams or different sources that are coming to you at different times throughout the month or whatever.
Right.
But it's always good, and it's one of the most elusive things that people have trouble with. You know, they go to these network marketing companies and they sign up because they really have an entrepreneurial spirit in their heart. They want to do the right thing. They want to create multiple streams of revenue. They want to maybe offset their main stream of revenue, their income, and they join these businesses. The easiest one is network marketing. Which creates residual income. And it's a perfect model, but I have issues with it because it's only as good as the leaders of the company. And if the leaders of the company are flaky, then you're going to spend your money and you may end up losing.
Well, the
So,
product also plays into that too. It's not just the leaders of the company. I
right.
mean, I think your opinion might be a little slanted. The reality is that the
We,
product has to be good, or the
we,
leaders don't really matter.
we will agree to disagree on that because I've been through many of them and I've seen the leaders just cause them to just go crazy. But anyway, so my partner, Steve Bailey, has a business that he runs. And he probably told you a little bit about it, but we're going to smoke out the grease that makes the whole thing run and get him to talk about it because I'm sure he didn't give you the nuts and bolts and the how tos and everything. And you're probably there scratching your head going, "Hey, Steve, this is great, but how do you do it?" So, Steve, you want to come in here and
Wow.
join us in the room, or are you just going to
Oh
be sitting down in
no,
the bottom part of my screen?
I guess I'm going to come in and join you. Hang on. I didn't see this coming, so let's see where this goes. Hang on.
Uh, gotcha.
Yeah. Thanks.
So,
On the one hand, I get to use our two shot for the first time, so I'm very excited about that. From a techie point of view,
yeah,
we've never done
yeah.
this angle before.
So, for people that I don't know if you've talked about it or not, but
Right.
your Steve has a arbitrage business, and he uses two resources called Amazon and eBay. And Steve, explain to the people what arbitrage means to what you do in your business.
So arbitrage in the simplest form means it's basically the same as stocks, for want of a better term. You're buying low and you're selling high. You're buying from one person. In fact, I just got a bunch of boxes delivered to me today from Target that I'm going to basically package up and send into Amazon. I paid a certain amount for them from Target, and then I turn around and sell them on Amazon for a higher price. So in essence, that's what arbitrage means.
Yeah, and you've probably heard movies of people, doing arbitrage, selling businesses and all that. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's buying products at a low price and then selling them at a high price. Now, where do you go to sell them?
So I started out on just eBay. eBay was what I knew. I had an attic, and I kind of touched on this last week. I had an attic full of junk from when I was growing up as a kid, when my kids were growing up, and it's all stuff that's just sitting up in the attic collecting dust. And I started just dumping it all onto eBay. And this is funny. It's a funny story because it's kind of grown over the years as I've been doing this. I started selling it on eBay. Um, Ray used to make fun of me, but I used to dumpster dive to get the boxes because I was too cheap to go out and buy boxes. So I would literally go behind our local GameStop. And I don't know if it's not illegal. I've already checked in Delaware. But I'd go behind our GameStop and I'd find decent boxes of decent sizes that I need. I'd throw them in the trunk of my car, and when I'd sell something, I'd put them in the box, put all the stuff in there, and ship them out. And I printed out the labels on my printer, and I tape them down, and and that's how it got started on eBay. And then as that started to do better, I would sell the things on eBay. I would turn around and reinvest that money into going to yard sales and flea markets and things like that to get more product. And then I stepped into the world of Amazon because what I've found from doing a lot of the research is if I get something new or I get something that's in high demand, people tend to trust buying from Amazon more than they trust buying from eBay. They think eBay is where people go to sell junk, and Amazon is where they go to get the nice stuff. So I wound up selling some things on Amazon, some things on eBay, just depending. So that's kind of the outlets that I've used, and it's evolved over time. And now I'm probably 60% Amazon and 40% eBay.
So, who got you started in that? Did you hear about it from somebody, or how did you
Uh,
discover it? Because a lot of times people get emails, and there's a lot of network marketing gigs out there that will want to guide you to do it and sell you courses and all that. And I
no,
think
everything
that
I got was
you
100% learned by me. It actually started. It's funny you asked that because I never really sat down and thought about it, but it started with me just
we do probing questions here.
we started just collecting video games. I've always been a video game nut. I've always wanted to collect video games, and I watched a bunch of YouTube channels on people who went out to yard sales and they would find old video games and they would buy them, for $1, $2 here. And I started doing that. And as I watched these people, there was one guy I watched. I think he had like 100 and some videos, and I think I binged watched every video over like the course of a month or two. And in the
Right.
process, he basically had the same philosophy. It was go buy a video game. If I need it for the collection, then I put it on the shelf with the collection. And if I've already got it, then I just turn around and sell it on eBay to get more money to go out the next week to buy more stuff for the collection. So at the end of the day, I'm basically self funding my video game addiction by all the money that I spend. I keep the ones that I want, I sell the rest, and then I take the money that I make from selling it and go out and buy more. So it's basically a free collection that I've built over time. So that's kind of how it got started. And then later it kind of evolved as I stopped watching him. I started watching other people who were not only doing video games, but they were doing toys and they were doing electronics. And then it became generally as a rule of thumb, anything under a pound that's pop culture, you know, people would be interested in buying. So I started looking for that and I started testing different waters. I would look at hats, I'd look at shirts, I'd look at shoes. Um, and if I had a good there have been times where I've gone out to yard sales and I know that I've got a stack of games in my hand that I paid $5 for that I'm going to make $100 reselling. So I'm like, okay, I know I've done well here. I'm going to take some of the money that I know I'm going to get that I've not yet gotten, and I'm going to start testing other things. Maybe I'll buy a pair of shoes and see how they do. So I kind of use it as an education to kind of dip my toe into other waters.
Doesn't it get confusing to try to figure out? Well, no, let me back up. Is there a lot of profit in it?
It depends. Um, I have bought books. One of the big things that got me started on Amazon. See, Amazon is very picky um, in what they will let you sell. A brand new seller to Amazon is very limited in what you're allowed to sell because they don't know you, they don't trust you. So you can sell a very small set of things. They have this process called gating, which basically says you're not approved to sell this, so you can't sell this. So one of the ways that people get
Well, let's not
unengaged,
get into the technologies. Let's not get
I'm
into
getting
the
it.
technical terms.
I'm getting into that. Just
Gating and all that. Let's keep it simple for what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, so gating basically means you're not allowed to sell a product. One of the ways that you get allowed to sell more products is books. Books are pretty much wide open because that's where Amazon got its start. So I spent a lot of time learning about how to sell books. Flea markets have books all the time. Thrift stores are an abundant place to find books. And yes, there can be profit in this, some things more than others. I bought a book at a thrift store probably about a month ago for 99 cents and wound up selling it for, I think it was $89. So yeah, there can be huge profit.
Okay, so you're using Amazon for that stuff, right?
Right.
Okay, so Amazon takes a cut, correct?
Yeah.
And how much of a cut would be, let's say if you bought a book for $2 and you sold it for 16, what,
So you can't really put a specific number on a book. The percentage that they take
okay,
out.
talk to the software that you have that you use when you go to like Goodwill for books.
So
Walk people through the process of what you're doing in Goodwill. You walk through the shop or the store and you see a book you like. Tell folks exactly what you're doing to determine whether that's a saleable item or not.
so I will, but let me finish the answer to the first question. The rule of thumb is you want to whatever the price is that Amazon is selling it for, a third of that price is what Amazon is going to take as their cut. As a general rule of thumb, the amount they take is based on weight and saleability. How much does it weigh? Whether or not they're going to store it. So there's a lot of factors that go into how much profit is in something. But as a general rule of thumb, if something sells for $30 on Amazon, you can expect $20 in profit. $20 your money coming back, and then you factor in how much a book costs you. So if I pay a dollar for a book and it's going to sell for $30, then I'm going to make $19 because I've got $20 that I'm going to get back for it, and I spent a dollar, so I'll make a $19 profit. But to answer your second question, um, there is specific software. My phone is my lifeline when I go into these thrift stores. There's specific software that you can use, and
Can you name some?
yeah, I can, but I want to qualify it by saying this first. Um, when I first got started, if you're going to use Amazon to sell books, okay, the two apps that I recommend people start with, because where I'm at right now, I have huge amounts of monthly expense, and the software that Ray is trying to get me to tell you, which I will tell you, costs a lot of money every month to use. So I do not recommend people start with that software. Once you've got a steady stream of revenue coming in, and once you start upping your volume and your game, then you can start looking at spending money on software. But the software that I recommend everyone start with um, is right there in the middle of my phone. I don't know if this is going to focus or not. The Amazon Seller app. That's what it looks like. The Amazon Seller app is Amazon's app for people who sell on their platform, and it's 100% free. And you can use that software to determine profitability. And a lot of people use it. I don't because I go faster. Um, but so the answer to the question is I use software, and it's the other two that are around it. Um, let it focus. Called Scoutify over here, and it went away. And Scout IQ. Scoutify is when I'm looking in Walmart or Target for something that's profitable. Scout IQ is when I'm looking for a book because Scout IQ is very specific in how it works. It's just for books. And what Scout IQ will do is it'll basically, I also go in with a little handheld barcode scanner, which is not blinding you right now, but there's shoots a little laser beam out and it reads the barcode off the back of the books. And what Scout IQ does is it basically takes the barcode, looks against Amazon's database, determines how much Amazon is selling it for, determines how much or how much of a cut Amazon's going to take, how fast the book sells, and then gives you a green light or red light to say yes, buy this book, no, don't buy this book. So I can go through an entire Goodwill. And one of the other things is when you go to books, you know what books aren't going to sell. Daniel Steele's are not going to sell. James Patterson's not going to sell. The odd books, the nonfiction books, the history books, books you've never like. Oh, I've never seen that book before. So that kind of thing, as you do it more, you get a feel for what works and what doesn't work. So basically, I go through and I scan an entire Goodwill in probably 10, 15 minutes using that. Now, you could do the same thing with the Amazon app. The difference is the Amazon app won't give you a green light, red light. It'll basically show you the sales rank and how much it sells for. It won't say, yes, you should buy this book or no, you shouldn't. It'll just simply give you the raw data. So you pay a premium for that little bit of extra AI, artificial intelligence analysis. But that's the basic gist. An Amazon seller works for books and non-books. So it just depends on what you're doing. I don't recommend people. Scout IQ costs me about $30 a month, uh, and Scoutify costs me about $50 a month. So I'm spending about $80 a month on just those two apps. But you can do the exact. In fact, my son is learning how to do this. He only uses the Amazon Seller app and does the exact same thing. It just I always tell
Takes a
people
little longer.
it takes a little longer, and it's better to understand the process before you start automating the process.
Right. So when you're when you're and let's just stick with books for a while. So you buy the books and you bring them home. Now, and the only reason we're staying with books because I did it. Steve walked me through the process a couple times so that I could see how it worked. I was curious. So when you buy the books, and by the way, as a sidebar, textbooks are great. I sold some
Textbooks are great.
economics textbooks, and I sold a book that I paid years ago, like $50, and I think I sold the thing for $70 or $80.
Yeah.
Um,
In
so
fact, pro tip,
because
one of the things that I recommend people just getting started is go onto Facebook Marketplace and just put up a post saying, if you have books that you don't need, I'll take them off your hands for free. I will come pick them up. I will take every book you don't want and I will get rid of it for you. And then you accomplish two things. Number one, they get rid of stuff that they don't want, which is a good thing. And number two, you can scan all of those at your leisure in your house to determine if something is sellable or if it's not sellable. If it's not sellable, you can turn around and donate it to your local charity and get the tax write off from donating the book. So it's a
yeah,
win win if
Goodwill,
you can
yeah,
do that.
yeah. So so sticking with books because next week we're going to talk about some other stuff. I'm just going to stick with this until Steve writes his course. Um, puts a course together so you can buy it.
Eventually.
Um, so sticking with books, you buy the books, you bring them home, you determine whether they're valuable or not, and you bring them home and you put them. Let's say you're putting them in Amazon.
Right?
Uh, you've got software from Amazon, right? That you enter the books in.
It's all part of
So
Am. If you go, it's not even software. It's just sellercentral.amazon.com. It's all part of Amazon's website. Anyone can sign up for a free account. Anyone can go in there and start selling stuff.
say that again. Give the whole URL
I'll
because
put
when
it
we
in the
get this
description.
transcribed, no, we're going to get it transcribed. So
Yeah, I'll put it in the
we have
description too.
our
But it is Seller Central, SellerCentral, sellercentral.amazon.com. Anybody can
okay.
sign up for an account. Anybody can use it to sell any books that they want. Um, so then once I've gotten the books and I've brought them home, then you have to go through the process of letting Amazon know that you have them for sale. And that comes in one of two ways. There's what they call merchant fulfilled, which is basically saying if someone buys my book, I will box it up and I will ship it to them. And then there's FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon. And what that means is I'll take these books that I want to sell and I will ship them off to Amazon's warehouse. And if somebody buys them, Amazon will put them in a box. Amazon will ship them to the customer. Amazon will handle any returns that need to be done. And I'll just get paid. So it's the best world because you basically, and that's what I'm doing with this Target stuff. I just got it in from Target. I'm going to slap some labels on it that say it's my inventory and I'm going to ship it off to Amazon's warehouse. So when Amazon sells it, all I do is get paid. I don't have anything else to do. So you can either fulfill it yourself and Amazon takes a smaller cut because you're doing most of the work, or you can do fulfilled by Amazon where they'll take a bigger cut, but they do all the work.
Right. So, and then they send you the checks.
And then they send you a check every 2 weeks, you get paid.
So it's like feeding the beast. You got to keep feeding the beast to get the money coming through.
Yeah, and
And
that's really a good metaphor because that's what I tell people. Because what happens is when I teach people how to do this, I say you only look for things that are in the top 1 to 10% of Amazon sales. If something is in the top 1% of Amazon sales in the books category, that means the second it hits their warehouse, it's going to be sold to somebody. And it's good in a way because as soon as they get their shipment, you see sales start ringing up. It's bad in a way because all those 10 books I just sent just sold. So now I got to go find 10 more books and send it. So you have to keep feeding
right,
that beast if you want the paycheck to keep coming in. That's why I said last week it
right.
is a grind and it is a constant grind. It's never ending, it's nonstop. But if you find a niche that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, like I love video games and I love yard sale hunting and I love going to thrift stores and flea markets, so that really gets me pumped to do that. The adrenaline rush when you find something. I just did one a couple of days ago where I got a game from Goodwill that I paid $1 for, and I literally the next day sold it for $150. The rush you get from that just drives me crazy. So it's a grind. Find a niche you like, find something that will get you motivated, and then you just go out there and do the hustle.
Okay, so we're running out of time here, and um, I,
And I haven't had a
I
drink
we'll
in
pick
20
this
minutes.
up.
Are you done with me?
No, we'll pick this up. And yeah, sure. We'll
Okay.
pick this up next week. And so we'll make sure that we note where we're leaving off. And we're going to just keep walking through this. And I want you to know that arbitrage is done in many other areas too. A lot of people do it in coins, a lot of people do it in stamps. Uh, but you do it from the leisure of your house, and you're able to find products. You're able to buy them at a low price and sell them at a high price. Some people go to their own outlet that they have for selling products. We're just touching on a few, but multiple streams of revenue is very important because it's really nice when you're working. If you're working full time and you're doing this as a part time gig, that you are able to uh, put together a little business, and it's nice to get that extra check coming in. And, uh, eventually one may build better than the other. Who knows? But we're going to stay on this topic because it's easy to get into it if you have a passion for it. You just got to find your passion, and we're going to walk you through finding your passion, hopefully, in some of these episodes that we have. But we're going to depart a little bit from the blatant talking about economic models and talking about uh, macro view of your wealth and that kind of thing, so that you get a little flair of how to actually do some of this stuff. I mean, we give you all the theory, but if you don't know how to do it, it's just, what good's the theory? So uh, we're going to continue with this. I want to thank you all for coming and downloading. By the way, go to financialfreedomradio.com and pick up the transcription. We're going to transcribe this, and we'll also have it on uh, a podcast so that you can listen to it while you're driving in your car or walking around the house or whatever you do. So it's financialfreedomradio.com. And to watch the videos, just go to financial YouTube at Financial Freedom Radio, youtube.com/Financial Freedom Radio. And also subscribe to our channel and ring the bell, and we'll send you a little email letting you know that we put up the next show. So I want to thank you all for coming and downloading, and we'll talk to you next week. FinancialFreedomRadio.com. Take care. God bless.
Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast. If you want to learn how to create real sustainable wealth like the extremely rich people do, or maybe you just want to sustain the wealth you already have, you need to check out Dr. Ray's new book, Why the Rich Are Rich. Ray's been coaching clients for 35 years and has completely unlocked the secret strategies that rich people use day in and day out to grow and sustain their wealth regardless of what's going on in the economy. His book is completely free, and you can get it by going to whythericharerich.com and entering your email address. Again, that's whythericharerich.com. Head over there now.